Hello.
2001 Odyssey. Is that what you really just
That's
said?
what I said. What I said was right before we came on, I was going to wear my white John Travolta suit, 2001 Odyssey, Saturday Night Fever.
You should have.
Yes, I had the poster.
I would like to see you in that suit.
I got to bring in my high school picture. That's quite a picture.
You should. That could be the
Maybe
show
we
and
can
tell.
have a show and tell type day.
Yeah, high school pictures.
And I'll bring mine.
Oh my God.
Mine aren't as fun as yours.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Mine
Older
is
photos are
chiseled in stone because it's so old.
Well, I mean, Joe's is probably chiseled in stone.
I graduated in 1980, so it's.
See, I'm even older than him.
I think the picture was in black and white, though, if I'm not mistaken. The yearbook. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh well, happy Saturday!
Happy Saturday!
Saturday.
You know, Nez, I actually opened the door this morning after doing some stuff outside and not wanting to get caught in the rain, and I yelled out the door, "It's effing bowling weather!"
Yes,
and I took the door and I slammed it.
Yep,
I was a little upset today.
Certainly not golf weather, that's for sure.
No, and it's humid. You know what? You just said it. It's humid, and I feel it in here today.
Oh, it's very humid.
Yeah. We're
my hair also feels it. So
yeah,
that's why.
Sure. I used to have that problem. Not much anymore. I'm with you, Ray.
Ray's saying we could start a club. So I have to, Joe.
Yes.
You know, we always talk about how we get text messages after the shows.
Yes.
And we love getting your message because you get to watch the show later on.
Yes.
And he kind of critiques us a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, Brian?
Gives us his input.
Yes.
You know, we might have to apologize to you, Joe. You know, this week we had
it's quite all right.
We had alcohol, we had Jello shots, we had pizza, Zeppelas, garlic nuts.
Yeah,
we had them all. And look, Marco's not even here today.
I noticed. I was talking with Tina just a little while ago.
No, Marco, just Tina.
Thomas is here.
Did Tina offer to feed you
Arturo's
today?
here. No, it's quite all right. It's fine. It's okay.
I don't want you to take anything.
No,
personal,
no. I don't. But when the show ended, I was the emoji that goes. Like that, but that's okay.
And he called us out on it. But Joe, we
hot
still love
seltzer,
you.
Jello shots, Zapelas. No, it's fine. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
Joe, you know, it is Saturday and you're here,
yes.
and it is episode 62.
Year I was born, 62.
Check that out.
See? Look at that.
There it is.
There's always an angle.
You know, I love this because I don't have that all in common with you guys, but that's okay.
What, that you were born?
You'll get there one day.
In like 1960s.
You'll get there one day.
I hope. No, I really hope to. Like, I really hope to get to that point. And Marco's not here, but he can see us. He's watching.
Tina said anything you watch. Thank you, Tina.
You're the best, Tina. We have to say it's Saturday. Joe's here. We're excited. We're always excited. We're a little change in plans today.
Yep.
Shannon O'Keefe was scheduled to be with us this afternoon, and she couldn't be with us. Something came up, and our thoughts are with you and Brian, and we'll see you next. Shannon's going to join us next week. She couldn't be with us today, kind of last minute, and here we are. We got a great show lined up. You know, I want to say, we always say Happy Memorial Day and Happy Memorial Day weekend. Right. And I always feel weird saying that because
it is a little bit of a somber kind of a
and it's
weekend.
Meant to be that.
Yes. But, everything is a holiday. So we've made this into a holiday. I didn't want Joe to think that I forgot about him.
Never.
I meant to bring this out when
Never.
I came,
oh, thank you very much.
But
thank you, Ray. Thank you, Nez.
Wow.
It's a nice
look at this.
Of red.
My
so
favorite.
Oh,
thank you.
Home where I'm going home with him.
Yeah.
Let's go, Ray. Let's go. I'll tell Heidi set one more for dinner. Oh, that'll come in nicely tomorrow when she makes some pasta. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Some pasta for the impasta.
Ah, that's it. Always pasta for this impasta. What are you kidding? Always. Thank you very much.
Hey, Steve. Oh, Joe, there's a question here for you.
Yeah, I see it from Brian. I woke up this morning with a dead horse's head in my bed. What does that mean? I don't know, Brian. Refer to last Saturday's show. Maybe that's what it means. No, we're all good. It's all good.
So we were talking about how Memorial Day, it's a bit of a somber weekend, and you don't want to let the time pass without without memorializing or thinking about the men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Yep.
For us to be able to do things we do every day.
That's right.
For our freedom.
Yep.
I do want to, and I recommend this every year, that there's a movie, Taking Chance, and it is a amazing movie. It was put out in, I believe, like 2009. It's an HBO movie, and it was the story of a young soldier that was killed in battle in Iraq. And it's the story of the volunteer, I think they call them casualty officers, that actually escorts him back home.
Yes.
But just to see the background of that story and how the dignity that the whole situation is dealt with, it's really touching. And I think there are a lot of people that don't know what actually happens. You hear the numbers, and sometimes we're so removed from it that it hasn't affected us or our family or somebody we know. But it's a great movie. Highly recommended that you watch it. It's especially on this weekend. Listen, it's kind of a nasty day outside. Check out. It was on HBO, but I believe it's available on Amazon and maybe Hulu too. But check it out. It's definitely worth the watch. And if you cry at movies like I cry at movies, have the full box of tissues out.
Yes, have your handkerchief ready.
It's a great movie. And, it really is, and it really honors the soldiers that are killed in action, and their families. And, it just shows and actually it honors the service too, and shows the dignity that they really do take these deaths. Heart, it really is their
takes
family.
you through that journey.
Yeah. And anyway, highly recommend it. Really,
that's a perfect weekend to watch it.
Movie.
That is, and this is like this is movie weather. I mean, you can't go bowling, you can't go to the movies. You're sitting home. Listen. I mean, if you want to barbecue, you're going out and barbecue, and you're finding your way to with that umbrella. But it's just not the same of enjoying a nice weather weekend. Right. And these are the we never wish for beautiful. We never wish for these beautiful weekends. We kind of want this because it's what brings people inside.
Yeah,
and
today would have been.
They'll do a mix of people. Do a mix of both.
Sure. Yeah.
And people should be bowling right now.
Yes, they should.
And we had a good friend who I call Uncle John Laspina on the show a couple weeks ago, last week before, and he made a comment. I remember many paid the ultimate price so that we could be free. Some of us are free to run a business and invite others to play a great game.
Absolutely.
Love you guys, Uncle John.
Yep.
And he was on the show talking about his role and the work that they do with the PVL. Bowlers, it's Veterans League. Bowling's oldest charity that supports our veterans. So thank you, John. And it's always a good reminder. A reminder. The name of the movie:
Taking Chance.
Taking Chance. Nancy Barrios. Hi, Nancy was asking.
Highly. I don't know how everybody doesn't know about this movie. Kevin Bacon was
the guy. He was the guard, right?
He's the casualty soldier that brings him home.
That's right.
And I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. It really is. I've watched it I watch it every year at least once. I also usually watch it on Veterans Day. But it's not to be missed.
Not to be missed.
And Joe, did you catch this comment?
What's that?
You know the irony.
Oh, from Kenny.
Joe
you know
wine,
the irony of giving Joe wine, right? The door is opening. Easy now, Kenny. And, you're right, though.
Drive-in movie theaters haven't opened in Putnam and Dutchess County.
There's some changes going on.
It is even today. Even a little. We've talked about the phases and reopening and what that looks like. And the governor made sure to remind that, hey, phases could start sooner than the 14 days. And he's been, that's nothing new, but it's all of a sudden this new revelation. Oh my God, we can, that's always been in place if we hit the metrics and we get there.
Right.
So, I mean, there's certainly light at the end of the tunnel as long as everybody agrees.
Is okay with it.
And I believe they said now it's groups of 10. can congregate in New York as long as you maintain social distancing?
25, I think.
20
they
up to
said.
25,
Up to
I thought it was
25.
Jersey.
No,
Oh,
they
25 is Jersey.
Oh, 25 is Jersey. You're
10
right.
is-
That's
10
right.
is
That's
New
right.
York. Yeah.
Which
That's right.
was the number? I don't think that's. I think
Oh,
that was
I didn't know. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's, it's something.
Yeah. Yeah.
American Sniper is really
It's
a
another
Yeah,
good movie.
you
Yes,
know,
it is.
yeah.
Yep.
I've watched that multiple
Yeah, that's
times.
what's his name?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
That poor guy survived everything
Yeah.
there, comes home and gets shot and killed at a shooting range
You know,
by some guy that was off his rocker.
the
Sad. Chris Kyle.
You
was the
know,
Marine.
I could talk for a very long time about the plight of veterans once they come home,
Yeah.
because the older veterans are treated with a little bit more reverence.
Yeah.
But the recent veterans,
Yeah.
younger veterans, have really struggled to. A lot of them have struggled to readjust
Yes.
to life. When they come back home, and
Yeah.
it's sad,
Yeah,
and
it is.
they definitely deserve all of our resources to be able to help them recover and kind of assimilate back into life, because it's sad. It's sad.
It's like a shock to the system.
It
yeah,
is, and
it is,
we
yeah.
don't. I don't know if it's because we don't take it seriously
Oh, we're
enough.
getting all the movie recommendations.
Yeah, we
here.
got a whole list.
Hacksaw
So if you're
Ridge.
looking for
Yeah.
movies, look in the
Look in the
feed,
thread. Look in the
because there are
thread.
a ton of good movies.
Yep.
Yeah, those are great.
Heartbreak Ridge is another one. I just watched that about 2 weeks ago. It was on. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and I was thinking Bradley Cooper, and I have to say, the actor that he plays all these crazy people.
Yeah.
He plays, and not that I hate to label them crazy people, but he plays all these parts where,
very emotional.
oh my god, and he
character.
captures them
Yeah, he
every
really
single
does.
time.
He's
Yeah.
very good.
And I almost want to meet him in person and want to know, is he anything like
Yeah. The character.
any of those
Yeah,
characters that
probably
play?
not.
Because you have to have
He
a
probably
little
has
twinge
well,
of that
but
stuff to
I
play those
think
characters.
that people who are good actors and
Right.
actresses, I just think they're very good at kind of assimilating themselves into the role. And I forget what movie they were talking about, that when the actor was during the time he was filming, and even before, when he was doing his research, he never came out of character.
Right. They
For
remain
the
in character.
whole
Yeah.
filming,
They remain in character.
They stay in character.
Yeah.
And so I just think that their actors are
Some
some
people
actors are very good
Are
at
born for that.
kind of.
Like we were texting about, when was it? Last weekend. When I said I finally got around to watching Joker.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I have to watch that. Yeah, I
Joaquin
think I'm-
Phoenix was born to play that role
Yeah,
because the
haven't-
guy's a little out there,
but now think about,
frightening movie, little strange.
oh, he was awesome.
He was
But
great,
Think
though.
about that character alone, the Joker. How
Right.
that character was created, and now go back
Yep.
to the first Joker,
Right.
and we've talked about this a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
here.
Yep.
And come back to today,
Yeah.
and every single one of the, I don't know what
Different.
one of those actors that not
Right.
good.
Right.
4 of them won
Yeah.
Academy Awards for that role.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe it's 4.
Wow.
It could be 5, but I believe it's 4.
Jack Nicholson. Did Jack Nicholson
Jack
win?
Nicholson,
He did.
but classic role.
right.
And no matter how you tell that story or
Yeah.
tell a piece of the story, it's
Yeah.
different every time.
Different every time.
And everybody takes their spin on it. I have to say that is one of my favorite movie characters because how it's over the years always stays current. And
Yeah.
I mean, comic book stories will always stay current. I mean, that's part of what they've done and capitalized. But that role alone, and Joaquin Phoenix,
Yeah, he was. I see why he won, because he was absolutely. He was out there. Wow. I mean, it was dark. It was really dark.
Yeah.
It was really
And think
dark.
about, again, go back to the role and
Yeah.
what they've done to transform into that role.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another
It's another. I know.
Fox. You gotta
I
do a
don't
little
think it was
Fox.
much of a stretch for him to play. To be that person, because if you listen to his Academy Award speech, oh my God, he's
Well,
out
I
there.
think people would have been disappointed
Yeah, right.
if he just got up there and very stoically
Yeah.
accepted his award. I think that would have probably
Yeah,
disappointed people.
he was. Wow.
Hey, and Craig Herrera, welcome to the party. And what is Rabs? You were watching
You're
Live
in
from
it.
Rabs
You're in
from
it.
Staten Island's iconic Rabs Country Lanes. bowling alley, bowling center, entertainment center. Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
I mean,
Thanks, Rob.
yeah.
Yep.
and that whole story is sad in itself. But
Yeah.
to the way that they honored him at the
Yeah.
same time. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, that's one of my favorite roles.
Yep.
So we got a little bit on a tangent there. We're talking about movies. We could just talk about movies all day long.
Yeah, we could.
And
could.
you bring up Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
We'll talk for
we
days.
can go on till next Saturday about
It's
Jack
like another, anytime you're here, Joe, you just never know. Hey, so our first guest, I want you to introduce, Joe, I want you to introduce our first guest.
my buddy Ronnie.
Yes.
My buddy.
An avid watcher of the show.
Yes, my buddy, former ABC colleague, and my brother, Ronnie Ziegler, the one and only, who I talked his ear off for years about the draft league, and you got to come bowl in the draft league, and bowling. People who used to work with us were like, get these two out of here, because all they talk about all day long is bowling. So we would go find our little corner, usually by where Ronnie worked down his end, because he had a huge office that he worked in with some other folks, and we used to find our little corner and go talk bowling. Right, Ronnie?
That's right. Every time.
Yep.
And the significance of why you invited Ronnie to join us today.
Because he's a Vietnam vet, and we always want to thank him for his time, and we want to thank him for helping us live in the part of the freedom that we do today.
Thank you for your
Thank
service.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ronnie.
It's nice to see you, of course.
Yeah, we missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too. I really tried to get back. After the latest surgery, which was my hip surgery, for the third, and the pandemic took that away. So
Yeah.
I've been recuperating, and I'm ready. So let's go.
Just when he's ready to bowl.
Yeah.
And it's a couple of seasons now. You've been in and out.
Yeah, with injuries and stuff.
So
Yep.
it's nice to see that you're ready to roll and you want to be bowling. I mean, Ronnie, I'm looking forward to the first draft of the new season.
Yes, for sure. Yep. September, man. Like Paul says, we'll see you in September, man. Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's great.
Kenny's saying, Ronnie, you look great. Can't wait to see you back in the third next bowling.
Thank you, Kenny. I'm not gorgeous like you are, but
Mr. Gorgeous.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, you know what, Ronnie? If you ask your bride, I'll bet you she says you are as gorgeous as Mr. Gorgeous, right? If you ask Linda.
She kept me around for 51 years, 47 years married. Tuesday was our 47th.
47 years, right? That's right. Yeah.
She's been very good for me, believe it.
Yeah, you guys make a great team. So Ronnie, take us back a little bit to before we start talking about some of the service stuff. Take us back a little bit to your days bowling, because you're a Brooklyn guy too from back in the day. So what are some of the places where you used to hone your skills back in Brooklyn?
Well, a lady, friend of my mother's, my mother bowled.
Right, your mom bowled.
Yeah, and Ann Booth. She started the first African American junior bowling. So I started bowling at 10.
Okay.
And I don't even know where it was. I know we had pin spotters, so you can realize how old I am.
Hey, we try not to give away those secrets, Ronnie. We don't give away those secrets. Although the next couple of questions, you might wind up giving away more secrets for your age.
Hey, wait, Ronnie, just a second before you hold that thought. I just want to let you know, no pressure. Your daughter Anitra is watching. No pressure.
Yeah, I let them know. So I bowled at Freddie Fitzsimmons. Joe, do you remember Freddie Fitzsimmons?
I remember the name. I can't say I knew him, but I remember the name.
I bowled there, and Parkside when I became an adult.
Parkside, sure, okay, yep.
Which is closed, of course.
Right.
And I bowled at Bedford and Maple and just about every place that's been closed,
Right.
that has closed. Both Gil Hodges, the original one on Ralph Avenue.
Right, the first was on Ralph Avenue, then Strickland Avenue, right? Yep.
But she gave me that love of it. I started, I dropped off for 4 years, went to Bay Ridge, played football.
Okay.
And then came back to bowling. The last few years have been pretty rough physically, back surgery in 17. Took me out for 2 years. Then I came back. It took me a year to get myself together. And then when I finally hit my stride, it was time for hip surgery. So
Right.
I guess that's what being old is about. But I've always loved it. I'm a radical guy now. I used to be Ebonite and then Columbia 300, but I'm a radical. I love my radical stuff.
Yeah, Ronnie loves that. He loves, as a matter of fact, when my daughter Jill was ready to go up in weight and go from a 13-pound ball to a 14-pound ball, Ronnie said, I don't have one for you. I got two. So he gave Jill a radical, I can't remember the name of the ball. And then he also gave her a spare ball. So, and just like her dad, she leaves a boatload of 10 pins. So Lord knows she needed that ball to make a 10 pin. So thank you for that, Ronnie. She actually bowled well with them this past year. So thank you.
Upon coming back, I had to drop in weight from 15 to 14. And I found the 14 does work really well. And let's open up so I can,
Yeah, so you can come back.
Really get it together.
You can come back. Yep.
Hey, I want you to talk a little bit about your service. So, when did you serve first?
From 68 to 71, U.S. Marine Corps. 13 months in Vietnam. Purple Heart.
Purple Heart.
There it is.
Yeah, I was wounded in 68. Came out in 71. And it was, I always found Vietnam to almost not be as bad as coming home. Because as you all know, at that time, there were a lot of protests.
Yeah.
Those of us who were veterans, I wouldn't even wear my uniform. And my then girlfriend, who became my wife later on, she liked for me to wear my uniform, but it was like having a target.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So, yes. So I didn't wear my uniform, and when I finally got out, I really didn't embrace the Corps until I was around 50 years old.
Right.
And then, of course, when 9/11 came about, people started really dealing with the Vietnam vets then.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
You're right, Ronnie.
You're right. It took a disaster in our own country to make people realize what people like you gave up to defend our freedom. And it breaks my heart every time I hear somebody tell that story, like you told, to come home to shame, you know. And I think that made it harder to be here and made people want to be more back with their unit, because at least in your unit you felt like you belonged there.
Right.
Oh yeah. I even volunteered to go back, but I had to be home 2 years, and then at the end of that 2 years, it was time for me to get out. So I said, I didn't want to go through that again. So making it a career because of Vietnam was totally out of the question.
Yeah, for sure. Man, it's a tough time. My oldest brother was also a Vietnam vet, Ronnie. And I know when he came home, the last time I ever saw him dressed in his full, his like dress uniform was when the yellow cab pulled up in front of the house, and he got out, went into the trunk, took his duffel bag out. When he got inside, after everybody hugged him and greeted him, he took his uniform off, and I don't think he ever put it back on again for any occasion. And he really was one who never spoke about it. He really, he never did. He became a New York City cop, so he was always a lot more proud. Not that he wasn't proud of the fact that he served, because he was, but I never even really talked to him in any kind of depth about it, because I just knew he didn't want to talk about it. So you ask him what it was like to be a cop, he'll go on and tell you all stories about being a cop and all that. But the Vietnam thing, we never really touched on, So, and I kind of, as young as I was, and as I got older, I kind of respected that. Never really talked about it with him, but I didn't have to. As you get older, you learn about it, and you just know why he didn't want to talk about it, So, but yeah, I totally understand that.
Coming home was rough. Yeah,
for sure. But then you got a job at ABC. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, I started going to school to become a disc jockey. I had a band. I was a bass player. I had a band when I was a kid, and I came back trying to be a star. I always say that line in Midnight Train to Georgia, superstar, but he didn't get far.
Yeah,
written for me.
No, as far as we're concerned, you got way far. You got very far. Come on, man. You both, yeah, you got far. Come on.
So I decided, well, maybe I'll spin records, and they convinced me to take the first class license course, because you needed a first class license in order to be a disc jockey and do the board at that time, which it's not like that now.
Right.
And then I got sidetracked. I ended up taking a test to go to RCA. I went to RCA Globecom, then Americom, and then from Americom, I contacted Steve Cohen,
right,
and who I didn't know I would be working with, and he directed me to Bill Hines. It took me 2 years. The first time I interviewed, Bill Hines was a Army Vietnam vet, and that's all we talked about. that whole interview, and then I came back a year later, and interviewed again, and then about 3 months later, I got the job, and I stayed there for 33 years, and it was wonderful years. Yeah. I loved who I worked with, who I worked around, who I worked for. It was the perfect job.
Yeah.
Until Disney came in.
Until Disney came along, right? Yeah, I know. See, Ronnie is retired, so he could say that without any. I know where he's coming from, but being I still work there, I have to tread. Oh, of course. Yes. I'm gonna wave
the big old mouse.
The house of mouse. Sure. I don't wave the flag that much. I try not to wave it at all, but they do sign my paycheck, so I have to tread lightly, Ronnie. Right until I retire. Definitely. Yeah, and then we could become the Bash Brothers, like McGuire and Canseco, and we can bash, and then we can bash the company, right?
So Ronnie, you mentioned being a DJ. So what kind of music do you like? What kind of music?
I am about as old school as you can get. I'm Motown, Stax Bolt. I love Latin music. Big on because when in my youth we used to go to concerts with Eddie Palmieri and people like that. And drips and drabs. I'm not a big rap fan. Not all of us are rap fans.
Right. Yeah.
But I do have a couple that I listen to, but really mostly old school Motown and things like that. But the disc jockey thing, now I was going to, want to go on the radio. I wanted to spin them since I wasn't going to. Oops.
Oh,
okay. I'm back. Yep. Yeah, time for another operation. Look at that. Yeah. It never materialized. So I got sidetracked, and the sidetrack put me at ABC. So that was fine with me. Yeah. That worked out.
I could see him spinning some discs.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
a little throw.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Ronnie, you also have again, not to put pressure on you, but your daughter Erica is also here, and she actually brought up something that I was gonna say that I'm not sure. Did all of your daughters bowl, or just some of your daughters? But she's saying that you worked the overnight shift and you were able to make all of her bowling tournaments.
I made them all, yes. Yep. And same, my oldest daughter, Anitra, the one who came in first,
right?
She bowled on the boys team at Madison High School in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Because they didn't have a girls team. Right. And Deidre didn't bowl. She bowled juniors. They all bowled juniors. So right. Deidre, my middle daughter, she bowled juniors. And then Erica was captain, I think the second year of her 4 years there. They started the girls team. Right. And she was captain for 2 years of the Lincoln High School team.
Lincoln, okay.
They were good.
Yeah.
Lincoln was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, things were different then. I was one of the coaches at Parkside, but that was back in the day where, they interview and say, "You're a serial killer?" Yes. "But do you bowl?" "Yes." "Okay, you can be a not like today where you got to get fingerprinted and all that.
Yeah.
So, but it was really, really great. I really enjoyed it. I had 3 of my nieces bowl with Claire Martez at Parkside.
Okay.
But they closed the I think in third or fourth year, they closed right in the middle of the season. Parkside,
Yeah.
closed it down. And then we kind of like went to a couple of different houses, but a lot of the local kids stopped bowling because of that. That was a shame.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah. So yeah, my girls enjoyed it. I was able to make their tournaments, working the overnight.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I had a great time married, bringing up the kids and all that. Everything just fell into place perfectly.
That's great, Ronnie. I have to tell you, some of the people who worked that shift, you got to see with some of these people, how they function and what they look like. Ronnie was the most normal person that worked on that overnight shift. Right, Ronnie? I mean, you had some winners throughout the building on that shift, right?
Well,
the midnight shift?
Yeah, because I worked at Steady for 15 years.
Yes, you did. And you brought
the ones who worked it 2 weeks and then ended up on the day shift for 2 weeks, they were
right.
like, but my sleep, I was able to get into my sleep pattern.
Yeah.
On Friday night was I would bowl,
right.
And I was bowling at Melody at the time.
Okay.
Most of the time, and Friday I would just stay up. I wouldn't go to sleep. I'd stay up.
Right.
Lots of times I'd go and practice, and then bowl at night and sleep normal Saturday, and sleep normal Saturday night into Sunday.
Right.
Then Sunday I'll take a nap, and then I start my week.
You'd have to go to work.
Yep. So I did that for 15. And if one of the girls had a tournament, I would either come in, go right to sleep, and get up and go to the tournament, or stay up. And then after the tournament, I would, sleep until it's time for me to go to work. So
yeah.
It was like having a day off every day, almost like being retired, except I actually had something to do.
Yeah, at nighttime. But you brought the word normal and credibility to that midnight to 8 shift, because boy, there was some clowns on that shift. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Well, I was actually working 1:45 to 9:45.
Okay. That's overnight.
So,
yeah.
But they gave me the chance to interface with some of the people when they came in.
Yes.
And see the bosses and all that stuff, because I wasn't afraid of my bosses, because I love my bosses.
Right. Unlike now. It's
even Michael.
Even Michael. We could talk about Michael for next Saturday. For sure.
Michael.
Yeah, he's got a good heart, but his head, I don't know.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. For sure. Ronnie, I just want to give him a shout out too before we let him go. Show you the kind of guy Ronnie is. He would always ask me about how my kids were doing, how were they bowling. So when Brad was a junior bowling for Newdorp, he made the city individuals. And I told Ronnie, Ronnie, guess what? The individuals are going to be held at Gil Hodges. I'm sorry. The old Gil Hodges, which was then Strike 10, became Strike 10. He said, really? Right. I said, yeah. And he said, on what day? It was I think a Tuesday or a Monday or whatever. And he said, I wish your son luck. Tell him I'm rooting for him. Okay. So me and Heidi go. I take the day off of work. We pick up Brad at school. We drive him there. Pile a couple of the kids in the car. We go. Place is packed. Can't get a seat. Lucky you get a spot to maybe go see where your kid is bowling. And the kids are practicing. And I happen to turn around and look at the front door. Who comes walking in? Ronnie. Made the trip from North Brunswick to come see my son bowl, not here, in Brooklyn. He made the trek over 2 bridges and came to watch Brad bowl. And he inspired Brad to a second place finish in city final. He almost won. He almost won. Yeah.
I feel really bad that I didn't know about Rabs earlier. It would have been so nice to be, when I watch every day, because that's the religion. Watch 2 o'clock.
We appreciate it. You're a top fan, right?
Yeah.
But when I watch every day and I listen to all of the people who have been a part of Rabs, I always wished I could have been a part of that. Now I used to take my girls to the show place when it opened up. We go see a movie, then we'd go and bowl, then we'd go and have pizza, then we'd go and have ice cream. It was a great day, and to be out with the kids. Yeah. But I really, really love what you all are doing. And it makes me continue to be a part of it. Even though I can't be there in person, but you look around, I will be there when the time comes. Yeah. And I just want to say to Joe, his father was a part of the greatest generation of World War II.
Got his hat here today. I've got his hat here, Ronnie. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
And
Yep.
I just want to thank him for his service, because it was a really rough time for them too.
Yeah, it was. Yep. Well, thank you for that, Ronnie. Thank you, man.
It certainly was.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. And he mentioned Claire Martez, and could talk about her all day. And
yeah.
she was, and she's still around. She's moved to New Jersey, a little retiring, just super lady. And she was giving it her all to New York City bowling, as long as and she's still involved. She still travels with the girls and bowls. And I like seeing their stuff on Facebook.
Yeah,
and
Claire was
she's
funny
super lady.
Yeah.
So thank you.
She's really wonderful. She is wonderful.
That was a nice little trip down memory lane.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Ronnie, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you,
for
Ronnie.
having me. Joe can tell you I was nervous. It was like I was going to a singer or something.
I told you, it's like we get done bowling, we go in the bar, hang out with the guys, and have a couple of beers. You just shoot the breeze. You're fine. I told you. You're fine. Yep.
So, hey, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for your service.
You got it, Ronnie. Thanks for your service, man. Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, Ronnie.
Take care, Ronnie.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
He's
the man.
He's awesome.
Ronnie is the man.
The world should be populated with gentlemen like him.
Yeah, that's true.
And and bowling with him is great too.
Oh yeah.
When I don't how many years?
Ronnie came into the draft league. I want to say he took a break though. He came in probably around 2014, 2015, maybe 2015.
15, I think.
Around 2015, yeah. And then he took like a year and a half off because he was injured. Right. But on and off, he's been with us for close to 4 years.
And
now.
I remember meeting him saying, "Oh, I can't bowl with some of these guys. Shut up, Ronnie."
Yeah, right. Just bowl. Just bowl. Yeah.
Very humble.
Yeah.
Very gracious.
Yeah.
Gracious man.
Yeah. He is the salt of the earth, as I like to say.
He certainly is.
He is.
Hey, so. We salute our veterans on this weekend, of course. And, we have another special guest with us today.
Yes, we do.
Full of special guests.
I like it. The next guest is Staten Island bowling's historian.
Yes, he is.
The infamous...
That's big shoes.
It is big shoes. And he does some awesome work.
He takes it serious.
He does. He does. I love it. And I love when he talks about looking through microfiche and finding stuff. And then when he finds something and he comes... Did you know? And it's different. I just love him listening to him talk to the guys, and then talk about it. And then the guys on Tuesdays and the senior men go, "Oh yeah, of course." And they're jogging their memories. And he's like, "Well, how come you didn't talk about this so fast?" Just funny stuff. So Joe LaBargo is with us today. Joe LaBargo, how are you, Joe?
Hi, Joe.
I'm doing fine, Frank, and everybody. Hope everybody is fine and safe, and everything is good with everybody.
Doing okay, Joe.
Yeah, so far so good. We're hanging. How are you? And you're alive. Donna hasn't killed you. That's a good sign. And I saw Donna in the background before, so I know that she's still kicking. How are you guys holding up?
We're holding up well, thank you. Donna is working harder now, teaching from home than she does when she goes to the classroom.
I'm sure. Yeah.
The remote learning teaching can be a little difficult for them.
Yeah, I'm certainly sure for that.
Yeah.
Joe, we appreciate you taking some time and spending it with us today.
Thank you.
You
Thank you for asking me.
Super bowler, son of the infamous Dominic LaBargo.
Yeah.
Hey, and before we get started, I had pulled out some old photos.
Here we go.
I have to start with this. So
here we go.
Check this out. There's two of them here. There's two of them.
I just saw a question by Rob.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So, here's the first one. This is from the grand opening of Bowling on the Green.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The Capitellis.
Smokes.
And I'm going to tell you a story. I just found this out today. Go ahead. Tell me.
So in this story, if you see the photo, right?
Is that Ben McNevich?
Benny McNevich.
Benny McNevich, right?
Dom.
And Don,
this photo here. It's Stan Gifford. I mean, this is some awesome,
wow,
celebrities to help open up and reign Bowling on the Green. So go ahead. What do you got?
If you look closely in that picture, all the way to the left in the back, there's a gentleman with a white shirt on. You know who that is?
Oh boy,
not the white shirt with the tie, with the white shirt.
In the background, up in the background,
up in the back to the left. That is Joe Giovinazzo.
Oh my goodness!
Really?
Not the guy with the tie.
Right,
He's
right.
got a white shirt on.
Joey G making memories. Even back in 1961, he was making memories. Wait, Naz, I'll put a little light on the subject for you.
It's a great. I mean, it's a great photo.
He said not the guy with the tie.
No, not the guy.
Not the guy with the tie. It really is. It's an awesome photo because it captures so much of what was going on, and to celebrate the opening, and you had professional bowlers, local celebrities. It's cool stuff.
That's awesome.
And the other
That's
photo
a great
I have,
picture.
of
That's
course,
a great pic.
also includes a superstar. This is
Ray Yes.
1962. 62.
I've never seen this picture.
He stumped
I don't
me.
know who that woman is.
I was just going to ask that.
I can't read the name on the trophy. But this is 1962, the high average roll off.
Wow.
Right. You know what happened that year?
The year I was born. I was born.
That what they used to do is they used to have all the highest average bowler in each league. And Staten Island would bowl in a roll off, 5 games scratch or 4 games maybe. And that year, starting the last game, my father was about 50 pins behind Whitey Wass.
Trophy.
And the last game he shot 268. And wound up winning the trophy.
Yeah, that's the score. Okay, you know what? It's funny when I looked at when I zoomed in on the photo. There's a score. I couldn't tell if it was the average, and I was like, "No, this can't be right." So that it was a 268. I'm assuming is what's on that trophy.
Was the final game, and he wound up winning.
That's awesome. Hey, and so through
that is awesome.
It's funny when when we talk and you come across something in your journeys as looking for information and candidates to be considered for the Hall of Fame. What do you think has been what's been the craziest thing that you found that you just nobody ever knew?
Right. That's a great question.
That's kind of difficult because there's so many different things that we look at, scores and not just scores, but things that people have done for people that we would ask for meritorious service.
What do you think is a story that you've heard that in your research that seemed a little strange, maybe?
A little fugazi? Maybe a little fugazi?
Oh, come on. Some of the people that are in that Hall of Fame, you've had to have heard some stories. Obviously, that you can share here.
I got to run.
Obviously, some of the old timers, they weren't around when we had the induction, and so I couldn't get any stories from them. That's a hard question to answer. It really is, because there's so many different people. You give me time to think about it, I'll let you know.
Go back to looking through spending some time looking through microfiche, right? Which takes, I'm telling you, and I've done it myself, and not to the length that I know you have. What are the things that you found in there that were surprising? That you just
probably the number of bowling alleys that were on Staten Island back in the 20s and 30s, and scores also. There was one gentleman a few years ago I found, and I contacted his family, and they had no interest. And back in the 1930s, this guy bowled 4 or 5 300 games in a 3 or 4 month span.
Wow.
And and that's stuff that you would never think back then would happen, but it did.
1930s. The first 300, Albo era, right? Is that the gentleman's name?
Albo era, correct. March of 1917.
Wow.
Yeah, and talk about that discovery, because that was a big discovery for you.
And we even had his bowling ball.
Yeah.
We even had his son came to one of our Hall of Fame dinners and brought the bowling ball with him that his father had used to shoot that first 300 game.
Wow.
And it's lost and you never find it, but I always wished we could. because that would be something nice to have.
Was that ball made out of wood, or was it like a rubber? What was it made out of?
It was rubber. It was rubber.
Flintstone ball? No. Okay. All right.
Two fingers.
Okay. Okay.
2 fingers.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I know at some point they were in the wood bowling balls.
Yeah,
like there's a different generations. I
Almost like
might
a
still have one in my basement.
Corkish.
Like a cork.
Yeah, well, cork.
Yeah.
Yes. They used to use cork also.
Yeah.
And how was that discovered?
What?
Apple era.
300 game?
Yeah.
Just going through old stuff and singing his name, and then it would say it, and then I would have to go look for it, and that's how I found it.
Wild Goose.
Then when you start using Google or Bing, and you look up their names, and then you start finding their family members, and you contact them, and because I had contacted his son. His son's name was Richard. He was living in Vermont. He was a college professor, and we became friends. He came to the dinner a couple of times, and this was 20 years ago now. So
wow.
Yeah.
But it was interesting, and that's basically how we did it. So we find names on the microfilms from the old Staten Island Advance newspapers, and then with the internet, you do the research from there.
Just keep digging. Just keep digging.
Yeah.
And then there was the first youth bowler. Talk about that discovery, right? So there's a young boy.
In April of 1927, a young man named Jackson Smith. He lived on Clove Road by Fingerboard Road.
Oh, my neighbor.
Not far.
Yeah.
And bowling alley was right there. Now it's a little plaza. There's a Chinese restaurant, a couple other things in there.
Yeah.
And he was bowling one day, and he bowled a 300 game. He was in high school, Curtis High School.
Oh, there you go.
And he went from there. We found out later he gave up bowling. He became a bridge player.
Wow.
And he used to go on cruise ships and stuff and play cards with everybody. And
wow.
Yeah.
So recreational bowler, bowls a 300 game, and of course his name is in the history books, and he the award that the Hall of Fame gives
to the
is
youth bowlers.
in his honor for the first 300 game.
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
It is cool.
1927.
1927.
1927.
So
Wow.
10 years later, the first one.
April. He was 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and so talk about your dad, because Dom he left an impact and a legacy in Staten Island and bowling history as a whole.
Yeah.
And so growing up and watching him bowl, talk a little bit about that. Watching your dad bowl and being the superstar that he was.
Well, what I used to do, he used to take me wherever he went, and I used to keep score. Because at the time there was no automatic score, and so I was the scorekeeper. And so in the one league he bowled in Manhattan, the Major League on Wednesday nights, they had a lot of superstars. Mark Roth bowled, Johnny Petraglia bowled in it, and I got to meet a lot of those guys through that, and sometimes I almost feel like I can't live up to what he did, and I feel a little bad about it. But then, like I think how Mickey Mantle's kids were, and
Yeah, but
they played baseball, but they couldn't be like as good as their father was.
Yeah. Listen, you be you.
But
You do you.
Yeah, you do you. Yeah.
That's the way I feel. You know what, Naz? There's no better sport than bowling. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
None. None. I bowled in junior leagues, and when I bowled at Big Ten lanes.
Oh yeah.
When I bowled at Big Ten lanes in the Stapleton AC, I made friends that to this day I'm friends with those people.
Yeah, a lot of those Stapleton
And-
AC bowlers are still around.
Yeah,
That's
well, Tony Cifolletti was the guy.
Oh yeah, Tony Cifolletti. Yeah.
And you're no hack. Don't
Yeah.
downplay that. You are certainly no hack. You've you are a fierce competitor on the lanes. It's also a different time.
It is.
You know, you're Don bowled at a time when conditions and equipment, it's a totally different environment.
Yeah. Right.
And so now take that and you can't. It's hard to compare yourself. But I mean, you're a fierce competitor yourself. Don't kid you. You get a lot of respect on the lanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
True.
do, Joe.
I don't like bowling. I don't
Right.
like bowling against you. I don't care how old you are. I don't like bowling against you old guys.
Yeah, well, listen, that's it's we tend to run out of steam a lot quicker.
But certainly. But Joe always makes sure to remind you when we bowl against them.
Oh, he's tough to
He's
bowl
like,
against, Joe. Yeah.
us old guys can't keep up with you, and then they kick our ass.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Different
He's
story.
lulling you into that false sense of security.
I can tell you when I was in Germany, I was young. You know, I was only 21, 22. But there was one night we bowled in they set up a tournament, and it was just a small 8-lane place on the base in Fürth, Nuremberg, Germany, and we bowled in a 20-game marathon, league style. Five people on a lane, and we started at 11 o'clock at night, and we finished at 5 o'clock the next afternoon.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Wow,
That is long.
that's a marathon. Wow, that's a
Hey,
marathon.
but you did it.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, wow.
growing up
That
in
was wild.
Did you get paid for keeping score with for your dad? Did, you know, they throw you a nickel or two, a quarter, a buck here and
Sometimes
there?
when he would bowl when he would bowl in the KBC tournaments, the old, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the KBC, the Kegler Bowling Club.
Ziegler,
Used to
yeah.
have in the 60s and 70s. Brad Edelman and
Yeah,
his father Edelman.
Yeah.
I used to get $2 every time I kept score. So he would bowl 2 or 3 times. I would make $6.
That was a lot of money.
Score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the early 70s when you're 13, 14 years old. And it's just, I feel weird when I see people bring their kids now and the kids are running around and everything else because there's nothing else for them to do.
Yeah, it's not right.
When I was their age, I was the scorekeeper.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
We don't need them to. The computers are there. So
Yeah,
they're just
yeah,
running
yeah.
around.
Yeah.
And
Right.
2 weeks in a row, Brad Edelman's name was
Yes,
brought
that's
up.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week we had Wendy McPherson.
Came up last week too,
She
yeah.
works alongside of him running their events, and he's still out there doing his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the high rollers and the military bowling championships.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
He's
Right.
a real innovator, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Right. But the old KBC in the 60s and even into the 80s, I used to bowl in it.
Yeah.
They used to bowl every week in a different house.
Yeah, they came to Maple.
Jersey, Brooklyn, Queens.
Yeah, yeah, they traveled around. I think one time I got so proud of myself because I made the cut. They bowled at Maple, and I'm like, oh, this is my home house. I have to bowl. I was a kid. I bowled. I made it. Went back the next day. Got wiped out and out. Like I think I bowled 2 games and done. So then the next week, the guy was like, oh, we're going to Queens. Why don't you take the ride out? So I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling proud. I'm feeling good. I made the cut, even though I got eliminated quick the next day. Take the ride out to Queens. I went to Belrose and bowled so bad.
Oh, Belrose.
I'm
Lucky.
like, oh, man. I went to Belrose Lanes, sat in traffic on the Bell Parkway to Cross Island, barely made it in time. I said, you know what? I think my Kegler days are about done now. And I just bowled a couple of tournaments with them, and I was done. But at the time, I was playing some other sports, too. I was playing softball. I was playing hockey. I was doing different things. So bowling was up there, but it wasn't the top of the right. I was doing other things, but the Kegler was definitely a nice tournament.
Yeah,
it was nice. It was a good club. Good club. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and there was another guy that used to work there was Bob McGinnis, and I know he's still around. I see him on Facebook.
yeah, he's around.
Nice.
A lot of those characters, you hear the names, and then you start hearing the stories that go along with it.
Yeah, bowling alleys and characters. That's for sure.
Yes.
So
Yes,
we've got a question from Brian Bass. He was asking Hall of Fame and through our youth bowling program, you guys host a bowlathon every year in honor of your dad. So your
Right.
families get together to raise some money for some youth scholarships. And, we know his niece and nephews, his nephew and his nieces have been honored with that award. And thank you for your commitment to keeping Dom's name alive. And certainly it's a very fitting award because it speaks for what he believed in. But talk a little bit about that award, because you came to us and said, hey, we'd like to do this. And you guys ran with it, do this fundraiser every year. And then, of course, you select some winners. So talk a little bit about the award.
Well, my family, after my dad passed away, we, like you say, we wanted to keep his name alive. And so this is what we decided to do, and in conjunction with the Hall of Fame. And we got this way, once a year, we got the whole family together, all the kids, the nieces and nephews, and we got everybody together. And this is how we did it. Now, the only thing was we had to decide what to do with the money. And I sat down with everybody, with the family, and we decided the thing with my dad was, besides his ability, was everybody loved him. He loved everybody. He would never get mad. You would never see him kicking racks and throwing the ball halfway down a lane because he's mad because he left a 7-pin or something. He never did any of that. And so we said we want to give it to the boy and a girl who are sportsmanship, not necessarily high average, but the best sports that alike he was. And that's what we've done. Hopefully we don't know if we're going to do it this year or not now.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Right.
We're hoping, but we'll see. We'll see. Because we all look forward to it. All my family, we all look forward to getting together. We take the big picture, and that's our Facebook picture for the year. And now this year we have a couple more little ones. Yeah.
So this would be August. So currently tentatively set for August 9th.
Right.
It's a great afternoon to support the scholarship fund and the efforts that you guys do. And it's the 8th year. I mean, you've given away, I'm doing this quick, almost $10,000 in scholarships.
Wow.
In 8 years. I mean,
That's a
in
lot.
7 years, that's incredible.
Right. Well, last year we were able to give a little bit more than we had in the past because we had such a good turnout for the bowlathon. And
I always look at this list every so often, and you just remind you of course, these are the kids that excel sportsmanship. Maybe not the best athlete on the lane,
Right.
Right.
Certainly.
Certainly.
And it's
Right.
good for those kids to be recognized
Yes.
because,
Yeah.
that's part of the sport too.
That's right. Absolutely.
And many of them are great athletes. I don't
Yeah.
want to not say it because they
Right.
really are.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
But it's more about the sportsmanship. So wait a second. So obviously, Dad wasn't the kicker on the lanes or getting upset, but so you must have gotten that quality from somewhere else.
Oh,
I take after him on. You never see me get mad on the lanes. I might get mad to myself and curse under my breath or something like that. But you know what? No pins ever got knocked down for somebody that got mad.
That's so true. That is so true.
That's
And
true.
I used to love listening to his stories. He always, and I say it all the time. Tuesdays and Thursdays, these guys, they'll grab me and they'll say. And Don was the same way. And you ask him about, hey, tell me about 1972. And,
right.
right.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
off he went.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite Dom LaBargo story that he would always tell? That stuck.
My favorite.
Or the best? What would you?
Wow, that's difficult because there were so many great stories.
pick one.
So many great things that he did.
One off the top of your head. What comes to mind?
I just saw recently that 1967, he won a tournament in New Jersey for $1,000. That was a lot of money back
A lot of
then.
money then. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He used to go to Chicago for the Peterson Classic.
Oh sure. Yeah.
And that was a big tournament. I drew people from everywhere.
Sure.
And the thing about that was the lane condition was impossible. It was an 8-game tournament, and if you shot 1,600, you had a good chance you were going to win. And the money was big. This was in the 60s and 70s.
Wow.
And he always told us there's one time he needed to shoot 250 something the final game to take the lead, and he started with 4 in a row. The last game, and he wound up in the 180s, but he made $1,000.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
competitive.
It's a lot more than that now.
A lot more money. Yeah.
Well, and that event still lives on, right?
Yeah,
and the other, forget about the lane conditions. You can't see the pins, right? When you get to the foul line, you can't see the pin. There's a wall. They build a wall from the ceiling, about a little lower than eye level. So when you throw the ball, once you get to the line, the ball just goes. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And he said one time he threw the ball and he left a 5-10 split, the 5-10 split, but something didn't look right, and he looked in it, and the 5-pin was next to the 8-pin where the 8-pin should have been.
Okay.
And he said, you know what? He said to himself, you know what? I can put up with the lane conditions and all this other stuff, but when they start messing around with the pins,
pin spot.
That's it. And that was the last time he went.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. Yeah. It doesn't take much for
the last time you went to your shopping list. You can find it in your Alexa app.
Uh-oh. Alexa's here. Alexa joined
Alexa.
us.
Don't
Alexa.
say it because now ours is going to act up. It is funny how what triggers the what triggers.
I'm like, oh, do we have another guest? Oh, it's there she is. I won't say her name. She's here.
She's here. Always listening. Always listening. We have her here for music before the show because we can't play it on the show.
Right.
And Joe, thanks for dropping in with us today.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you for asking me. It was my pleasure and it was an honor. And I thank you guys for everything you do. And I hope we can get back together soon. Hope we can open up soon and get back.
Let's hope so.
We're
Joe.
looking forward to the Bowlathon, and then of course the fall comes. Before we know it, we'll be sitting together and recognizing the next class of
the Hall of
Famers at the Hall of Fame dinner in November.
And we hopefully we're going to have a dinner in November also.
Let's hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
We're knock on wood. We're ready to forge ahead and get ready to rock and roll.
Yeah,
so,
we are.
We all are. We all are.
That's another great event where people get together.
Oh, I love that dinner.
And, a lot of us see each other on a regular basis.
Yeah, of course.
There are times you go to that dinner, and me being young, I listened to the stories over the years, and you see somebody for one time a year that you get to see them, and it's a great night. So kudos to you and the team.
It's a great job.
That make that happen.
Great job.
Thank you.
A lot of hard work and a lot of building a base of real history of bowling in Staten Island. That's a great event.
And this will be the 20th year, right? Is that right?
The first one was in 2000. This will be 21.
21.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
amazing.
Good. Crazy.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying I'm hoping that things work out and we get through this and we're able to do it.
Yeah.
I hope so.
For sure.
I hope so.
Joe, thank you so much.
Thank you,
we'll talk
Joe.
soon. Plenty of bowling to talk about.
Yeah.
And Frank, you got to send me that picture, Frank.
I will. I will send you. I will send them to you. I have a couple of them. I think. I don't know. I know you have copies of some of them, but you know what?
The bowling on the greens picture I have. It's that other picture I don't have.
All right, I'll get this to you.
That one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a Jim Romano specialty. You could still call him if you wanted. Gibraltar 703.
Gibraltar. Wow. Gibraltar. That's whoa.
I got to see if the dial's working or not.
Yeah, right.
On the phone. Yeah.
The rotary phone. What is that? The kids ask. It's a phone. It's a rotary phone. Yep.
Hey, Joe, thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Thank
Be well.
you.
Take care, Joe.
All right. Thank you. Good luck to everybody. God bless everybody.
You
Stay
too.
well.
Stay well.
Thank you.
Yeah, Joe. Bye-bye.
That was great.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and it's funny, we stumped him. So now the next time we're going to pre-prepare him because, and forget about Dom, in all of the research that he does, again, I say it, he's come across some stories and you look at it and go, what?
Yeah.
And then, I found this article about so-and-so. And
and he was coming at he talks about it.
And he'll start talking about
the
it.
Hall of Fame
Find
dinner.
that.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame dinner, we're honoring someone and everybody's like looking at them and obviously they're dead.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then there's no family, but then Joe has done this research
He
and they're
deep.
talking.
Yeah.
And you're going, you know, the shame of it is that there isn't family.
There isn't family to
Right.
really share that memory.
And he digs deep because in the ancestry to try to find people. And we talked about this a while ago, how crazy the whole DNA thing is.
Right.
At the same time, Ancestry.com, there's so many good things that could come out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so Joe has used that to his advantage when trying to tell these stories. The ladies are having a side chat here talking about
I'm looking at that as you were
missing
talking.
bowling.
Talking about balance issues and the ladies miss each
ladies
other.
want their money.
Listen.
You know, they bowl Thursday afternoons, and they would be going to Atlantic City at some point at the end of the season.
You're right.
So you save your money, Pat, and you and Ann and the girls can go to Atlantic
I
City when
believe
they
they plan to go anyway as soon as they can.
Really? Oh, that's good for them. Good for them.
Yes, they do.
Well, Ronnie, really thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yep. Thank you, Ronnie.
And same thing with Joe. I'm always down for
two great
talking.
guys, two wonderful, wonderful men.
Yep, for sure.
And I like this one. This is a little delayed, but this is from before.
Yeah.
Kenny, she who must not be named.
She who must not be named. Right. Yep. I won't say it because then she'll join us again. So. Yeah.
Well, we miss. You know what? For what it's worth, Pat, Dan, we miss you, ladies too.
Yeah, we miss everybody.
Yeah, everybody. It's been you think
we miss
about
having this building full of
jumping
people.
The joint jumping, miss the joint jumping, right?
I look outside. It would be busy today.
Yeah. Well, I got an alert on my phone. You know how you get the little alerts when it says rain will begin? So mine says rain will begin at 3:25, and then I got another one that says rain will begin when you uncover your barbecue grill later. So I don't know what that means, but I may have to call home and say, let's cancel the barbecue plan and order something. But I don't want to disappoint. I think everybody's looking forward to some burgers and dogs tonight. So if I got to take out the golf umbrella and go stand there, it's been done before.
You're a good man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tomorrow.
It's been done before.
Yeah,
tomorrow's
we're
gonna be
we're gonna do tomorrow and possibly Monday. I don't know.
Yeah, Monday's a good barbecue day too.
Yeah.
It's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the weather tomorrow and Monday is going to be a little better.
Cooler.
Tomorrow
It's gonna be cooler.
It'll still be wet out. So
Yeah, it's going to be cooler.
Yeah,
a little cooler.
Yep. You know, the whole yard's now set up. The pool's open. We haven't been able to even use the pool. It hasn't been nice. Of course, when you open the pool, the warm weather days are gone.
Yeah, now it's raining.
We had a couple of those
happens
nice,
every time.
Yeah.
That's like when you prep the snowblower and then
it doesn't snow. It doesn't snow.
Kevin, steak going on the barbecue tonight. Tell me what time to be there. I'll pick up a 6-pack and I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I'll
throw
wear
it
a
over the
mask.
fence.
Yeah, I'll put a mask.
Throw it over the 2 fences. Randy might get to it first if you don't throw it far enough. It's a neighbor between us.
Really? Okay. All right.
Hey, Joe, you know, Saturday, you came and joined us today. We're excited as always.
Yeah.
Joe, you going to join us again tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't know if I can make it tomorrow. I kind of have some tentative plans. So, and plus, you know, I don't want to step on Mike's toes because Mike, he's got stories.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, today I didn't, you know, me with the stories, I didn't even have to tell too many today
Pellegrino,
because, you know, the guys did a good job of telling they each had their own stories to tell. And I have a couple, but hey, listen, I'll save my stories for another day. One quick story though, I will say, because it's me and it's Saturday and there's a story my dad's had, like Ronnie touched on. So my dad, rest his soul, proud of the fact that he was a World War II vet, but again, never liked to talk about it. Never didn't want to talk about it. Things he saw, things he went through. And my uncles too, who also served, they never liked to really talk about it. But in 1995, my dad gets a phone call from a gentleman with a British accent. And he thought it was a hoax. You know, because my dad was like, he was the definition of old school. You know, you look it up in his pictures there, right? So he's like, he hung up on the guy. Because the guy started to like talk about, did you serve in World War II when you were in the 3rd Army, 89th Infantry, and blah, blah, blah. So he's like, yeah. But then the guy started to touch on some things. And he's like, nah, this is, I don't want to say what he said.
Right.
And he hung up. So about 5 minutes later, the phone rings again, and it's the same guy. So my mother said, I'm going to answer. She answered the phone. Okay. And she said to my dad, It's legit. He's from the BBC, the British Broadcasting. They're doing a special in 95, it was the 50-year anniversary of the Holocaust. And they were doing a special. The BBC was interviewing American, they were interviewing Germans, they were interviewing soldiers from, I believe, Italy, from Russia. They were getting a different take on all the different,
Right.
the Allies, the Nazis, and also all the soldiers. So they found that of a lot of the guys in my dad's outfit at the time, and this was 1995, a lot of them were already dead. And my dad was one of the few that was still alive. And they asked him if he would, and my dad did not, it was never about him, didn't like being on camera, didn't even like taking a picture. It was really, so finally after some coaxing, after talking to my mom and the guy calling back a couple of days later, he agreed to go and be filmed for it. Wow. And if you have time out there, and it's a little gory, there's some photos and some video that they show of the camps when my dad's outfit got there, the concentration camps. Some of it is brutal to see, but I never saw my dad open up about it. He never, like I said, never talked about it. But in that special, it's called Nightmares and Liberation of the Camps. And if you go on YouTube and put that in, and then put in Mike Calandrillo, it'll go right to his segment.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's about a 20-minute piece, and I got to tell you, I never really heard my dad. He would show me things that he had, things that he took, medals, and he had a Nazi. He had actually the Nazi that was at the top of the camp, the flag. One of his friends climbed up the pole and took the Nazi flag down when they captured this camp. And my dad, I don't know how he wound up getting it, but my dad, out of all the guys from his outfit, he wound up with that flag. So he had that home. But to make a long story short, Dennis said he saw the episode. Dennis knew my dad. They bowled in the league together. When the Holocaust Museum opened up down by Battery Park, and after someone, I guess, saw that show, they reached out to my dad, and he dedicated all that stuff to the museum.
That's wonderful.
He had the Nazi flag. He had some of the medals that they took off of the German soldiers that they captured and had to kill. There was a little battle there. So they, the ones that they had killed, unfortunately, and some of the ones that were in the camp that they arrested and captured, they, ripped their medals off and things like that. And the guys in my dad's outfit, they divvied them up and took. And he had all these things, and he kept them in a safe place. And he showed them to me maybe once or twice as I got older, but he wound up dedicating them to the Holocaust Museum.
Wow.
So, but yeah.
Something else.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my dad was, he was with General Patton. He was with General Patton, 89th Infantry and in the 3rd Army. So I thought it only fitting for Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. I brought his hat, and
he was a super dude too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he was a hero.
Something else. I will tell you that even Joe mentioned that there is a lot of information available. Yeah, if you research online or even using Ancestry. I know that I started kind of looking up because my father served in the Korean War, and he never really talked about it either.
They didn't like talking about it.
I came across some pictures.
Right.
So one of them had the battalion as the heading on it. So I started doing a little research on it, and there's people trying to connect with each other. And it's just, if you really want to find people and find out information. Yeah. I mean, it's out there.
It's out there.
It is out there. Dig a little bit, but the information is out there.
It's out there. Yeah.
Funny. A few weeks ago, we're sitting here and I had voicemail on so the phone, obviously the phone's off, but we get voicemails, and I had a voicemail from a gentleman who was looking for our friend Dennis Regatti. Huh. And on the voicemail, and
it wasn't a bookie, was it?
No.
Hey, sorry, Dennis.
No. So Dennis is down in Florida now, and this guy was just asking about and looking for Dennis, and he just kept babbling, and I'm listening to this very intensely, and he said that he served with him in Vietnam.
Really? Yes.
And he knew that Dennis, said somewhere along the line he knew that he worked here, and just
some kind of connection.
Yeah. So I reached out to Dennis. I said, hey, I don't know who this guy is. I gave him his name, his number. The guy's name happened to be a Carmine. Hello.
Really? Oh, geez.
Welcome to the Staten Island.
Wow.
He's not living here. He's living up in upstate. He's living in upstate New York.
Right.
I don't know how old he is.
Yeah.
So I sent it to Dennis, and Dennis was able to touch base.
Oh, that's great.
He says, Dennis, when I talked to him, he just couldn't believe how the guy pieced this together. In 1967, this place wasn't here.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did
Yeah.
he, again, maybe digging through,
He
having
probably
conversations.
Googled,
Yeah.
you Google somebody's
Yeah.
name.
You never know.
You
Sure.
can pretty much trace their.
Maybe
Yeah.
at some point he saw that he bowled and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
kept
probably,
digging.
Yeah.
probably.
Uh,
Yeah.
But what sparked someone today to go reach out for someone? And
Yeah.
was it a story that somebody passed that they wanted
Yeah.
to share?
Right.
I don't know. I haven't
Right.
seen him. When he comes up here, I want to ask him. And
Right.
it's great that you can connect.
Right.
But he was just so blown away that how
Yeah.
did I know?
How did he know?
How
Yeah.
did
He
he
connect the
find?
pieces.
How did
Yeah.
he find me?
Yeah, Yeah.
It's just it's amazing. And you talk about the Holocaust Museum. I will tell you.
Yeah.
And I say this a lot, and so you've all heard me say this about our cultural institutions.
Yeah.
We take them for granted.
Yeah.
And, I've been there a few times, and the first time I was there certainly was a class trip.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
school.
Sure. A lot of schools. Yeah.
No, I take that back. It was a camp trip.
Oh, okay.
I did the Staten Island Museum had a camp to go,
Oh, okay.
and that was one of the trips, and then
Yeah.
a school trip, and that museum. I want to use the word beautiful,
Right.
but
Right. When
Yeah.
you think about what
it's
it
so
what
hard,
it
right,
is,
yeah.
right.
to say that I don't know what the right words to express that are, but we say it because they are. It's this beautiful place, and the exhibits, and it's done so well.
Yeah. The history is.
and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so the grounds are so nice. Battery Park, that the whole,
Yeah.
just the whole. If you haven't been there, you need to go.
Not now, though.
Yeah, obviously.
No. Yeah. No, you can't go
You
now.
need to experience that.
Yeah.
It's a piece of our history, and then the location itself is
Yeah.
magnificent.
Yeah.
Just to walk around outside and
Yeah.
the view, and
Yeah.
just being able to come to take the ferry over to Manhattan, dump yourself in Battery Park, and then you could also go to the Statue of Liberty, go to Ellis Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every New Yorker should do that.
For sure. Yeah. It's something to see. Yeah. And on the flag that they got, when my dad gave it to them, all of the guys in his outfit
I was going to
wrote
say, did they write
on the flag.
it?
They
Yeah.
signed, and some of them wrote some not nice things on the
Oh,
flag
really?
about the Germans and that. So when my dad gave it, he said, "There's a few things on there I have to apologize for because they're a little inappropriate, but you got to understand what we
The
just went
time.
through." And
Yeah.
so, but they all signed it, and they wrote a couple
Wow.
things on there,
That's,
and the flag was tattered too, like he could rips it, like rips, and it was really, it was something.
That's cool.
And he dedicated all that stuff.
I'm
And
going to look it up
yeah.
and watch that later. 'Cause,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I have not seen
it's
it.
about
I didn't see it
20
either.
minutes, and if you watch the whole show, it's about, I think it was like maybe a 2-hour special, an hour and a half, but my dad's piece is about maybe 17 minutes to 20
wow,
minutes.
that's a long time.
If you listen to some of the others, like some of the German soldiers, there are some of them that deny it. That'll
Yeah.
say, "Oh, that didn't happen."
Yeah.
And they're showing you footage of things
It's just
that
their perspective.
just
It's
how-
just right. It's
yeah,
just never
it's-
And they also don't
accepted
want to talk about
they
it.
don't want to talk about
So
it.
it goes both ways.
Yeah,
They don't
that's
want to
true.
talk about it. And their perspective also, they were on a mission.
Yeah,
Right.
So
that's
they had
true.
a job to do. So
Yes.
that's somebody else's.
Yeah,
Right. That's
Yeah.
just another.
it's the
voice.
different
Yeah.
perspective. You get the Russians, you get the Italians, and you get the French, and you get the
Yeah.
Americans, and the different perspectives. They're all talking about the same thing, but
Just from
they're putting a different
places.
spin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very it's something to, if you have time to watch the whole show. Nightmares and Liberation of the Camps.
So you have a
Yeah.
lot of assignments
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of movies to
Or
watch.
homework.
Yep. Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah,
video
yeah.
to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah. Yep.
Our show to catch up on if you missed any of
That's
those.
right.
So as long as the weather is nasty outside.
Yeah, and we got nothing else to really
You
do
guys
because
are-
When we come back Tuesday, we're going to ask everybody about what they watched.
homework
There will be
assignment.
questions asked. Right,
Yeah, it's going to be a
correct. There will be a
Q&A.
quiz.
Homework.
We're gonna do a quiz.
And
Yep.
we want you to enjoy your weekend, but
Yes.
really, this is it's an opportunity to reflect. And
Yeah.
if you watch one of those things,
Yeah.
it just reminds you of
Yeah.
who we are, where we came from, and
Things we take for granted occasionally too.
Yeah.
So people need to realize the sacrifices that one made. Like Joni just put the sacrifice
Or
was immeasurable.
right.
Yeah, it was for all the
And
generations.
still being made today.
for all.
Still
Yep.
being made today.
World War I veterans too, Korean War,
Yeah.
Vietnam. They all made. The Gulf
Right.
War. Yep. They all
the guys
did.
that are still around wear those hats very proudly.
My dad, I got to tell you, whenever I was with him, people would come up, "Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he was like, if I had to do it all over again, I would.
Yeah.
So
It took me a long time because to understand that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. It's so different for us growing up.
Yeah.
It's a different time,
Different
era.
mindset.
So when as a kid you'd see it, it didn't mean it. Not that it didn't mean anything,
You
but
can't
it didn't
connect with it.
didn't
Right.
understand it.
Can't
So later
connect
on in
with
life,
it.
when you meet and have conversations, it's a total you understand.
Yeah.
Anyway,
true.
hey, so tomorrow, Naz, we've got your friend Mike Pellegrino.
Yeah.
Mike Pellegrino.
Everybody's friend,
Everybody.
Mike Pellegrino. Everybody's friend.
And we're taking Monday off.
Well deserved, I might add.
Oh.
You should take Monday
We
off.
work
Both
very
of you,
hard.
very well deserved. Take a day, have a barbecue. The sun will be out. Relax.
Well, it won't be raining.
No,
I know,
it'll be a nice
they
day.
say.
Enjoy that day.
But we hate to disappoint our fans.
I get it, but you know what? Just show a repeat that day. That's all. Show a previously recorded episode, as we like to say.
We should do that and show that as if it's live. Put the little live thing and then watch how many people actually comment on that, thinking that it's today's show.
Yeah.
And if they saw it already, well, wait a second, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Wait, I heard this somewhere before.
Yeah.
Just show a rebroadcast. That's all.
We should. And if you're still watching and you haven't watched, go back and look. We've had some great guests.
Yeah.
And I know we had thank you to Joe and Ronnie for joining us today.
Yep.
Next week, Shannon will be here with us. And amongst other special guests, we've got a nice week coming up.
Very good.
So Sunday starts the new week with Mike Pellegrino. We're going to take the day off. And then Tuesday, we're off and running because we are here, Naz. Until further notice.
UFNs.
Sorry, I could have mid.
Can we get a nice large coffee here, please, for Naz? We need a coffee.
Yeah, they're all here on Facebook and YouTube. So maybe we go back and we do that.
Yeah,
Pick
why
one of
not?
those episodes.
Pick an episode.
And we're gonna post it as if it were live.
Pick an episode. Show a repeat. It's okay.
You know what? If we pick one that's too old, then that music is different.
Yes.
Opening is different.
We
might catch on.
We can fix it. We can edit it and just put the new opening and then send it out there.
Oh, there's always the Billy O'Neill episode 1.
That's right.
Think about that. That was a long time ago.
Bill O'Neill.
Billy O episode.
We didn't
1.
do social distancing very well.
No, because we had Joe here, and the 4 of us were trying to keep an arm's length.
Joe hasn't been here since.
Joe hasn't been here since. We frightened Joe Bruno out of here.
Joe Bruno, you got to come back.
Yes, yes. We frightened Joe out of here.
Joe, thanks for being here with us.
No
today.
problem. And my pleasure. Sorry I can't make it tomorrow, but I'm previously engaged. I have projects to do tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sure it's
I do. I got a boatload of things.
You have an engagement here with us.
I do have an engagement. I do. I have a lot to do tomorrow, but I'll be tuning in tomorrow around 7:00. Watch the later edition.
Oh,
I watched the West Coast version.
The repeat
when it airs later. Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in, watching. Continue to like and share, subscribe.
Thumbs up. Give it the thumbs up.
Wash your hands.
Yes.
Don't touch your face.
Touch your face if you wash your hands.
Yeah, but you should
right. Wait,
really should get out of the habit of
Yeah.
touching your face anyway.
Yeah, but you know what? Can we take a pause here for a second before we go? Pause. I'm driving on the expressway today, and before I get off the exit I got off of Clove Road. There's a sign there that tells you, traffic ahead, congestion, avoid this. It said, wash your hands with soap. I mean, do we really need that on a sign while you're driving to tell you to wash your hands with soap? We should be. I've been doing that for almost 58 years. What are you telling me I need that on a sign? Please, save the electricity. Do something. Put a different.
Since day one, I've lost all faith in humanity.
Oh my God! Do we need that while you're driving?
Just a reminder.
I know, but come on. I mean,
I know you shouldn't have to do that.
Credit to your parents.
Well, thank you, Ray. You're right. That's right. You're right, Ray. Yes, our parents taught us use soap and water. The minute you walk in the door, you need it on a sign on a highway. Come on.
Well, if we didn't just keep it real for you, I don't know.
That's real.
That's real. That's real. Right here, Ratings Bonanza.
That's my rant for the day. I'm sorry.
Live from Rabs. Naz.
That was awesome.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace out.